As the president said once again yesterday, the nation is at an inflection point, a turning point. Well, let's continue to pray that that is in fact the case. If that change comes, there will be a lot of spin coming out of this city as to the reasons. Certainly the economy does top the list, but the spin has already started with a number of media outlets here in D.C., The Hill, Politico, and others saying Republicans would have done much better had abortion not been made an issue by the court overturning Roe v. Wade. That, my friend, is spin. Joining me now to talk about this and more is Senator Roger Marshall. He is a member of the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. He represents the state of Kansas, and he is a medical doctor that has delivered more than 5,000, count them, 5,000 babies. Dr. Marshall, welcome back to Washington Watch.
And I've missed you. We haven't been able to talk for a while.
I know you've been back in the state of Kansas and about, and you look very comfortable there at home.
I am. I'm back here at my home, and we have some hunting to do tomorrow. So we need to get this election results in because I'm getting up at about 5 a.m. and got to be out setting decoys at 6 a.m. So, but it is great to be home. I got to tell you that. The campaigning's over with. It's time for the game.
So your thoughts as we await those election results tonight?
Yeah, Tony, I'm very optimistic. We did 10 town halls last week. The weeks before that, we were in Utah, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. And certainly momentum is on our side. Every day you could just feel that groundswell. And I would tell you what, the folks at my town halls are angry. They are so angry with Joe Biden's policies. I truly think this election will be a referendum on Joe Biden's radical social policies.
Now, no question that the economy, cost of energy, all of that is at the forefront of voters' concerns. But you and I spoke before the August break when, you know, the issue of abortion after the Supreme Court decision. The Democrats thought they had a winning issue. But there was a turning point when Republicans got their footing and they began to challenge the Democrats for their extreme no-limit abortion position.
Right, Tony. Of course, you and I believe life begins at conception. That's what I fought for my whole life, was protecting the life of mom and babies. But what America was not aware of was just how this radical position that you're describing by the Democrats. So we have proposed legislation that would protect life after 15 weeks. Of course, we would prefer to protect it starting at conception. We're one of just like half a dozen countries in the world that allow abortion beyond 15 weeks when a baby can feel pain, when it recognizes its mother's voice, all has fingers and toes, all those types of things. So I think that what we have tried to do is expose this radical position that, by the way, every Democrat senator has voted in favor of this late-term abortion up until the moment right before birth.
So that's an extreme position. And that's not where the American people are. So I'm just trying to prepare our viewers and listeners that, you know, when this election's done, there are going to be those saying, oh, the Republicans would have done so much better had they not had to deal with the abortion issue. I don't believe that. I think the Republicans, once they got their footing and began to say, yeah, look, like you, I'm pro-life from the moment of conception, but I understand we got to reach consensus in this process. And right now, 60% of Americans say that when a baby feels pain, we shouldn't be aborting them. So let's start there. Let's not be where the Democrats are and say birthday abortions.
Right. You know, Tony, I've been all over the state, done 110 town halls. I've met thousands, tens of thousands of people, and no one has ever been able to look me in the eye and say they're okay with a baby who could be viable, who could survive outside the womb, and it's okay to rip those arms off that baby and then basically kill it right after the head is delivered. I mean, I know it's really grotesque to talk about, but that's what the Democrats are in favor of, this late-term abortion. It is radical, that it's certainly not consistent with traditional Kansas values or American values, but certainly the people of Kansas, I can't see ever supporting late-term abortions.
So, Senator Marshall, I hear this, and I'm sure you've heard it in your town hall meetings. I've been traveling around the country, and one of the things I hear is people are looking to the Republicans. They like what they're saying, but there's a little skepticism as to how hard they will fight for these issues they talk about and how strong of a line they will hold against the Biden administration.
Yeah, Tony, certainly that would be our top goal, is to go in there and stop Joe Biden's radical policies, to stop his spending. He's committed over $5 trillion of additional spending over the next 10 years. I think if we could usurp those dollars back, that's what's going to help stabilize the stock market and stabilize interest rates. That would be the first step. And then we have to start rolling back any future spending that he wants to do, roll back his regulation and his taxes, unleash American energy and American agriculture. That'll start driving down the cost of food and fuel as well. So that's where we have to start with. Now, we need to be realistic, though. That'll be a lot of this that Joe Biden will veto, but I say let him veto it. Right now, people are starting to tune Joe Biden out, and soon they'll be voting him out as well. So I think, every day I'm getting phone calls, texts from my friends, Rand Paul, Ron Johnson. You know who the fighters are, and we're ready to go.
So do you think there will be a unified Republican conference there in the Senate?
Yeah, Tony, I think it will be unified, and I think we've actually done a good job of sticking together. I think that we had, unanimous agreement among Republicans on the major spending issues to stop them. But I want to remind you, one of the reasons that we're Republicans is that we actually can agree to disagree, and that there'll be issues that we don't exactly agree how to get there. We agree on the same common goals, but I think it's okay to have disagreement amongst ourselves and get to a place that we can all fight for.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We all have brains given to us by God. Always great to see you. I hope you have a very productive day hunting tomorrow, Senator.
Tony, thank you, and I hope we have a productive night here as well. We appreciate your leadership and just appreciate your viewers, all those folks that have got out and voted. And it's not too late. I'm sure the polls are still open here in some places. So please, that's your patriotic duty. You can't criticize tomorrow if you don't go vote today.
You're
so we
appreciate
all your listeners getting out there.
All right, Senator Marshall, always good to see you.